Waidaka has given me a very big title. They call me the HR manager. Ola Energy, Kenya Limited. I'm happy to be here. I was asked to speak about a topic that I think is very familiar with the HR professionals. I know that on your communication, it said I'll talk about finance in your organization. I was asked to speak on the broader aspect of the importance of personal development in the workplace and its impact on productivity. And of course, it would also touch on finance, okay? So I think I'll share my screen, though I'd like to start this session by saying that I'm also an executive coach, a certified executive coach. So that is what I am able to do besides what I do at work and as part of what I do as work, because our job also involves a lot of coaching, I would say, of our leaders and of the employees that we look after. I would say that it is a key competency to have. So thank you very much, Waidaka, for having me here today. I'll start by the session by asking some questions. What comes to mind when we hear about personal development or personal improvement? Because at our places of work, that is a topic that we discuss consistently, and more so when we are talking about our performance, okay? And the question probably I'd ask is, does it bring a positive impulse to us and to our employees? What reaction does it give when you tell an employee there's room for improvement, or when we are told there's room for improvement? Because development, personal development, really is about improvement, okay? So I know we are in HR and we encounter this quite a bit. How do we react to this feedback? Okay. How do we react to being told there's room for personal development? How do we feel? What is the reaction we get from our employees? What reaction? What do we feel? We feel challenged. Thanks, Wairimu. Yeah. Someone else, how do we feel? What emotions does it bring? Inadequate. Okay. Incompetent. It encourages growth. That's good. Room for improvement basically depends on your attitude. I think of training, which is exciting. All right. Sometimes good, there's room for improvement. Underperforming, fear, mixed feelings. Thank you very much for sharing. And why? Why do we feel, why is personal development viewed that way? And I think it's because we have always projected it that way, that it is, for those of us who view it in a negative way, it's because it's always been projected to be, it's only communicated, especially during appraisal feedback, okay? And we are being told, and that's why we feel inadequate, that's why we feel incompetent, but that's why we feel even unhappy that, it's coming up, because I think I've been doing so well. I am perfect, I do a perfect job. So why is this happening, okay? So then the question is, what is our role in HR in encouraging and ensuring a positive response to this area, okay? How can we make it about total employee well-being and not just about the organization? Because the reason why we think about it that way is because we only think about it that way because we are thinking it's about the organization. It's never about me, all right? So, and then if we did it that way so that it is encompassing everything, what are the benefits thereof? So my discussion is going to be a lot of asking us, it's just a reflection on how we do it, how we view it, and what we could do, differently. So I think personal development, from the way I see it, is should point to an all-rounded individual, which of course is our employee and ourselves. A lot of times people forget we're also employees, but it should point to an all-rounded employee or individual And I believe it also goes beyond the work environment and impacts culture, both at work and at home. Think of a situation of an organization that is very focused on safety, guides the employees on safety. And say, for example, let's talk about safety on the road, safe driving. And they focus and encourage and teach and, say you have to wear your seat belt, you have to make sure that you don't drive in the night, you have to take enough rest before you travel, you have to plan your travel, you have to know your destination, you have to mark where you're going. What happens is that this employee takes that beyond the office and it goes to the home environment as well. And that employee, as a result, because then they're not having issues with the safety, with the, accidents and the like, they are more happier, they are more available, So I also feel that it is a lifelong process. Personal development is a lifelong process and leads to employee well-being across many areas, okay? Your career, your health, your physical well-being, your spirituality, which I think the bishop has talked about, your mental health, your emotional state, your social or relationships, environment, and financial. And of course, like in relationships, they will start right from the office. And I think we've heard a lot from Paminas about the employee experience, It creates development, personal development, those interactions, because I interact with you, I learn something, and I'm better than I was before. So it doesn't necessarily have to be formal development, okay? So how are we developing our employees in these spheres? We need to think about it. How are we supporting our employees to grow beyond the career, their health, their physical well-being? Is there a part as HR? Do we have a responsibility? Because whatever they experience, we also do, because we are employees like them, all right? They forget. I think we are normally in a very tough situation because it is you, HR, and I think employees sometimes do forget that we are employees like them. But really, we can be the catalyst for how this area of our lives is viewed. Okay. Do we have a responsibility to employees beyond paying a salary? That is a good thing to ask ourselves, because I think we've had, and we all know that really we will never give employees enough for a salary. If Waithaka even said that the more we get, sometimes depending on how we organize ourselves, the more we spend, and therefore we are as frustrated as one who is earning the least. So is there anything as HR we can do to ensure that as these seasons come and pass for each employee, that actually they're transitioning in the right way? Okay. So again, what do we deem would be the benefit of empowering employees on personal financial management? Okay, is it really a responsibility of HR? And I think increasingly what is happening is that we are seeing a work environment where we are being asked to look beyond just the work, the job. The employee wants to be able to do everything. And in fact, as we get a new generation, they want to drive the biggest car in the shortest time possible. We will not be able to provide that money for them. The salary will not be able to provide that car for them unless the other enhancements that come with it, okay? We also don't want them to drive that car and kill themselves. So we have to be responsible. We have to talk to them about health. That is all development, your health, your physical well-being. How are you exercising? How is your wellness? etc., etc. And of course, we enjoy the benefits. Everything that the employee is receiving, we as a catalyst, we also are part of that body. So you will find that in an organization, it is important that we have employees understand beyond getting a salary. What can I do with the salary that I get? I know the employment law is very particular about the employer not interfering. The employee has autonomy to spend their money as they wish. But we as a HR or as an organization, because we sit in, we sit with the leadership, we can influence, what more can be done for these employees? What can we do as employees? Can we have a circle where employees, put their money and then, they save and they can do something with their money? So of course, if that is set up in the organization, What that means is that you will find a lot of employees will, of course, go towards that. Even if they didn't have the initial thought of saving, then through a circle, for example, because it is an employee circle, they will feel, okay, I can actually put my money there. I'll start with a little, and then I will grow, okay? And so it comes as a culture for the organization. It becomes a culture that we use our circle as a basis for saving. So even without telling employees you have to spend your money like this, because we are not allowed to do that, you then give them an avenue. It is very interesting that like in our organization, we have a circle, and at some point, because we have to pay for insurance every year, employees said, we need a product that helps us to save to pay for insurance at the beginning of the year, so that when the year starts, it's not, where am I going to get this money? So even if you're not able to save enough for that, item, at least you have relief, so you can have, so we probably, what I'm trying to encourage us is to say, we need to think outside the box and see how else can we help the employee feel more comfortable, around that. We can also have, we are the ones who are paying salaries. I know that we have NSSF, and employees, I don't know whether they have access to the information that they can do additional voluntary contributions. I know Ithaka has told us our pension will never be enough. So there is much more to do. So that could be a basis, because there's already a setup of, you're just encouraging this employee to secure their tomorrow today. All right. So what can you do? If you can provide information on how they can do additional voluntary contribution so that they can be able to save a little more for the insurance beyond the NSSF or the scheme that you have as an organization, it would be very helpful to them. The other avenues are things like education on personal financial management, using partners, you can use partners like banks. There are banks that you bank with. And I think when you approach them, they are willing to actually come and talk to employees about, some of these, say like saving schemes that they have, investment, banks have gone into investment now, where you can also be able to invest on bonds through your banks. So these are some of the other avenues where on the line of finance, you can be able to help your employees. Okay, insurance, the insurance companies that you work with, there's some training that they can give employees towards how do they secure what then they already have. Sometimes employees have all these ideas, or they are coming into the organization and they really don't know, and they have to go looking for that information. If they are going out looking for that information, they'll probably be looking for that information when they should be working for you. So if you can provide a forum where they are able to then all together get empowered, then it helps them to just have a better, state of mind and concentrate, You can partner with other financial trainers like Centonomy. We have done that for employees. And what we have seen is that it is very important for an employee to be able to transition. You are coming into employment. What can you do? And I think a lot of us didn't know what we could do. I personally didn't know what I could do. I keep telling people, when I had to pay my first school fees for my son, it was January and it was after December. And I just realized I didn't have enough money. And I asked someone and I asked another, they said, even I don't have. And I remember at that point, of course, nobody had told me, but I think at that point I said to myself, this will never happen again, The other way, of course, employees can access, and what I did, of course, is to start saving a little. And I told myself, even if it's 100 bob, it will be better. It will push on me a little bit better, okay? What then I've also seen is that we have knowledge being passed from employees who've been in the organization longer, informally, by the way, to the ones that are coming in, to the point where I've had, like those in middle age telling me, these young people that have come, we need to look for a session and sit with them. And I ask, why? Because when I joined the organization, I was sat down by my supervisor, that is coaching. And they told me, look, don't eat everything. I know you're thinking it's very little, but don't eat everything, How long are you going to continue paying rent? Look for something small. You don't have to start in Runda. Start somewhere, get something small. These are they have no obligation, okay, to do that. but they choose to do that. And these employees now, because this happened to them, they are at a point where they're saying, I need to do this for somebody else. So it becomes a culture of development. And of course, if that is happening in that area, it would happen in all the other areas that we are talking about. You know, keep talking to them about health, their physical well-being, their mental health. When they need help, support them, you know, or do the wellness so that you avoid the actual illness, the actual mental health issues, etc., etc. So timely, be the catalyst. We need to be the catalyst as HR. It's a tough job. We are also employees, but we need to then be that catalyst that, you know, brings these changes, because we sit, you know, in a position where we can influence some of these things. Okay. So what is the impact of personal development on productivity? And I think this one, Waithaka covered it perfectly. I don't even think that it is something I'd want to spend much time on. One, of course, is a true win-win, because the employee has intrinsic motivation. Say, for example, you have brought in an employee, they are new, they are young. You have told them, okay, we are going to train you on how to manage your money. Or you see you have a staff that maybe are 40, 45, and you tell them we need to start preparing you for retirement. And you get them the necessary tools. What do? They shift their mind to the fact that this job that I hold right now is a catalyst for everything else that I'm going to be able to do to set myself up. Okay. So it gives an intrinsic motivation even towards how they perform their job. Okay. So of course they perform at a higher level, and they take pride in their work and achievements, both at work and outside. Okay. They improved esteem. They have improved esteem and excitement from the results, both born of creativity around the spheres of their lives. So if this employee is well-rounded, you know, they are managing their finances well, so they have no stress, as Waithaka told us. They are managing their health, because development, we've said, is all around. It means that they are not having mental health issues, they are not having stresses, their career is growing, okay, because they are focused on everything. There's a wholesome view to their development, okay? So there's improved self-awareness on their inherent strengths. So first of all, because they are asking themselves consistently, why? Why am I doing this? Why am I purchasing this? Do I need this at this point, you know? So they improve self-awareness on their interests, as well as areas they need to work on, you know? So they feel that if the organization is helping me develop myself on this aspect, okay, then when they tell me I need to improve on my work, these two things tie. It's not only about the organization, okay? So we also see improved self-organization. The employee then becomes more organized, okay? And efficiency in handling of assets, and especially time. Because then you realize that my time here is precious. I have to deliver on this job because it is my base and it's my catalyst for all other areas of my development. So I need to plan my time well, deliver on this so that I can be able to deliver on the other spheres of my life, okay? So then, of course, skills and self-mastery, the skills development, self-mastery, leading to promotions, because they are improving their skills every day. It leads to promotions, improved remuneration. You know, if the organization has a structure where you pay, you reward on achievement, and ultimately they could have a career change or a career growth within the same organization. It gives the organization a great organization image. It attracts and retains employees for the organization. So you retain talent because the employee experience is good, and it gives the employees a sense of belonging, okay? Employees are focused. There's reduced downtime. You'll reduce the number of employees that say, I am not feeling well. I am absent on Monday because, you know, something came up. But we know, of course, especially what the issue might be on a Monday morning. So it helps them to create a balance, that they feel they are being taken care of all around. Of course, there's clarity of objectives. Now, they don't want ambiguity anymore. They want to know that I am expected to deliver this. In my own personal life, I'm expected to walk 5 kilometers every day. And the company probably has provided an avenue, because if there's a cheap field around your area that is secure where your employees can go and take a walk, it's a cheap way of ensuring that they exercise instead of paying for a gym, because a gym may be too expensive. So even if you don't have, or even, working in groups, sometimes employees will group together. And I see that happening a lot where they say, I go to work with so-and-so. At Kalura, it's 100 bob to enter. So if you are in the vicinity, encourage them to just go in and, and exercise, There's, of course, fulfillment of personal aspirations, because then you're developing yourself, you're growing, the employee is growing, you're climbing the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and you're moving towards actualization. And of course, it means that this employee is also going to retire comfortably, okay? Or at least, because they focus on all these things, including all those that we have been told by the previous speakers, so you're a balanced employee, you're planning for your retirement, you're putting your money together, you're putting your skills together, you're gaining self-awareness so that you know that you probably have a skill that you can use even outside the office or beyond the employment that you are currently doing, okay? It therefore then gives the employee authentic power, okay? You feel you have power, not power because I am the HR manager, power because I am in charge of my life. I'm in charge of what is going on. I know this, I know that, if you're financially trained, for example, you are not then panicking, because there are things that you've been helped to put together so that you're able to see what can I do? If this happened, what do I do? It becomes very difficult when maybe there's a retrenchment, and that's a time, 2 days to the day you're telling employees we will not have you anymore. You then bring in a financial advisor to tell them, you can do this and you can do this. Of course, it's not nothing, but an employee would feel better if this happened for them way before, and therefore they have been on this journey, because it's a continuous improvement. Of course, it gives you freedom from fear. You live more abundantly. You're continuously, reinventing yourself. And you avoid the status trap, so that you're not running around buying something because my neighbor did, I saw so-and-so bought a big car, so I also need a big car. You are actually moving in the direction of what is my goal. And that is the only thing that you focus on, not what somebody else's goal is, but what really is your goal.